Hello students, so we are back again in our SST class, right? Today we will continue with our geography chapter. In our last class, what we studied? We studied about the factors responsible for depletion, right? So today we are going to study about what? About conservation. Conservation of what? Conservation of forest, right? Natural vegetations and wildlife too. So let us start today. We have already examined earlier that conservation is the principle based on the certain goals. These goals in case of forest includes. Now, as we all know that conservation, if we want to conserve a particular place, a particular forest or wildlife, what we have to do? There are certain goals. We have to fulfill some goals also. Now let us see what are those goals. Goals means what? Aims, okay? Objectives. Preservation of biodiversity, sustainable resource use, better quality of life, clean air and water, aesthetic pleasure. Following are the methods of conservation. Now what are the goals in case of forest? In case of forest, if you want to conserve a forest, matlab if you want to what? Conserve, if you want to keep safe the forest, what you have to do? You have to take care of 4 goals. What are they? Preservation of biodiversity. We have to preserve our biodiversity, okay? Biodiversity means what? Living organisms. Then sustainable resource use. Resource use. We have to use the resource in a proper way and with proper planning. Then better quality of life, clean air and water. And also if we want to conserve our forest, what we have to do? We have to improve the quality of life. Again, we have to improve the quality of air and water too. How can we do so? By controlling the pollution. If we control the pollution, then naturally the air will be clean. No air pollution, no water pollution. Then naturally we all are going to have healthy life. And if we have healthy life and there is no pollution, then what will happen? Then there will be no harm to the forest also. Then aesthetic pleasure. Aesthetic pleasure means for our pleasures also what? We cannot cut down the trees for our own use, for money purpose. We can't cut down the trees. Clear? So now following are the methods. Let us see what are the methods of conservation, right? So first one is institutional measure. Now what is this institutional measure? Let us see. Institutional measure. Now, institutional measures, what comes under this? Let us see. By reading the name, we can find what? There are certain institutions made up by the government or maybe made up by the private sectors to conserve forest, right? By name, we can say this. But what are actually it is? So, let us study. The government has enacted forest laws and established national parks and biosphere reserve. As I said you, the government has enacted forest law and established national park and biosphere reserve. What government has done? Government has also made some forest law that if you want and you went to the forest and you cut down the tree, no, it cannot be like this. If you need to cut the trees, if you need a certain permission from the government also. There are certain laws regarding forest, okay? And moreover, government has what? Government has done? Government has set up national park and biosphere reserve also, where animals are what? Animals are conserved, animals are kept. Some of the special projects like Project Tiger have saved the tiger from extinction. Just like government has done what? One project, Project Tiger. In that what? The tiger was about to extinct, means what? About to finish. The species was about to finish. But government has taken some measure. What government has done? Government has taken a Project Tiger, in where what? The tigers were kept safe. That no one could hunt the tigers for their use. No one could poach the tigers, right? And due to that what? The government has saved the tiger from being extinct. Anti-pollution legislation have also been passed by countries. The killing of wild animals and trade in their products like ivory, elephants and antlers are also prohibited by law. As yesterday we discussed that what people do, people are poaching what? People are hunting what? Elephant, right? For their tusk, for their teeth. But this is also prohibited by the government. You cannot do. This is against law. India has so far set up 18 biosphere reserve and 103 national park, 535 national wildlife sanctuaries and 66 conservation reserves and 26 community reserves. Annual report 2016. According to the annual report of 2016, government has set up many wildlife sanctuaries, many conservation reserve, many community reserve, national park and biosphere reserve to protect what? To protect wildlife. These are what? Institutional measures. Institutional measure means we can say that the institutions which are set up by the government to conserve our wildlife. Clear everyone? Let's come to next point. Next point is what? Very familiar point. Next one is afforestation. Now what is this afforestation? We all know. You all know deforestation, right? So what is afforestation? Deforestation means cutting of trees. Afforestation means planting of trees, right? Planting of more and more trees. This means planting of trees where they have been cut down on vacant land, wastelands, swamps, roadsides, park, etc. Now see, planting of trees means what? It's not like this that you can plant the tree anywhere you want. It's not. Where the place is vacant, where the place is not being used for any purpose, like on the side of the road you can plant the trees, or from where you are cutting the trees, you should plant more and more trees on that area, or where there is a wasteland, that the land which is not being used for any purpose. Clear? You should plant more and more trees on particular that areas also. Then next comes legislation to prohibit cutting downs of trees without proper plan and permission. Now legislation, as I explained you here also, what does legislation means? No one can cut. No one can cut down the trees here and there. For this also you need proper permission and also proper planning also, that why are you cutting the trees. If you are cutting the trees, you have to plant trees also at the same time, right? And for this also you need some valid reasons also, and what you have to do? You have to take permission from the government also. Then next comes prevention. Now prevention means what? Preventing loss. Prevention. What does the word prevention means? To protect, right? Now prevention. Preventing loss on account of calamities like flood and forest fires. Some fires occurs naturally and other due to negligence. Both can be prevented by proper planning. As we know, we have to prevent the forest also. Suddenly there is a fire in the forest, right? For this also what we have to do? We have to prevent all this with proper planning. Or natural calamities which are occurring like flood, or you can say thundering storm, anything. We have to take proper planning for them also. Then next comes community initiative. Community initiative, what does the word community? Community means particular communities also should take part in the preservation of forest. Okay? Community initiative. Initiative should be taken by certain communities also. So let us see what is here. Some of the examples of the conservations are community initiative by the Bisnois in Rajasthan. Now communities, as I told you, community means what? A community of people, right? In certain area, maybe in some state, anywhere. Here example is given, like in Rajasthan, the Bisnoi community people. The people who belongs to the Bisnoi community, they take steps to conserve the forest resources of Rajasthan, right? They have maintained vast area under forest cover in the arid area. Arid area means dry area, right? They also have taken many steps to prevent it. The Yellowstone National Park in USA is another example. Africa which was earlier famous for hunting expedition called safari, is now best known for its national parks in Savannah region. Now, before safari, People used to go to safari for what? For hunting. But now hunting is prohibited in that area. But now it is best known for what? For national park. It became from safari to national park. It is situated where? In Savannah region. Out of 18 biosphere reserve in India, 9 have been included in the World Network of Biosphere Reserves of UNESCO. In India, how many biosphere reserve we have? We already read it in institutional method. In India, there are 18 biosphere. Out of this 18, 9 biosphere they are connected with what? With world. And what are the name of those biosphere? See, it is in your book. Nilgiri, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka. Then Gulf of Mannar, Tamil Nadu. Sundarbans, West Bengal. Nanda Devi, Uttarakhand. Panchmara, Madhya Pradesh. Similipal, Odisha. Achanakmar, Amarkantak, Chhattisgarh. Nokrek, Meghalaya, and Great Nicobar. Clear? These are the name of 9 biosphere. These are the name of 9 biosphere in India. Okay, but there are 18 biosphere. But these 9 they have got recognition in where? In the world's biosphere. Okay. Now let's come. I think you all have come to know about the conservations of forest. Clear? So now let's see cities. How cities are connected. Let's see. The United Nations Convention on International Trade is Endangered Species of World Flora and Fauna is an international agreement between the government. It aims prevent poaching, prohibit international trade in species of wild animals and plants, protect wild plants and animal species. Now see, there is one sites, not cities, sorry, it is sites. C-I-T, it is C-I-T-E-S. Now this sites, what is this site? This is site. Let us see. This site is what? The full form, the United Nations Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Flora and Fauna is an international agreement between the government. This is an what? Name of an agreement between the international governments. For what sort of agreement is this? Why this agreement has been made? To prevent poaching. Poaching means to prevent smugglings of wild animals and plants. Okay. Then next is prohibit international trade in species of wild animals and plants. Again, protect. They also do the work of what? Protection of wild animals and plants also. Here, what is important? You have to know the full form of sites. Okay. Nearly 54,556 species of plant and animals are protected under this agreement, and assessing at least 1,60,000 species by 2020. Some examples of protected species of plants and animals are orchids, aloes, corals, cacti, dolphins and bears. Some examples they have given, they have protected these animals and plants under these sites. Natural vegetation and wildlife is the crucial or flow of energy through the food chain and oxygen in atmosphere. Its resource value is not by exploitation but by making best and efficient use. It needs our care and protection. Now see students, as we all know, right, nature, what they need, it's not that we should just use the nature. Nature does not say us that we should not use the nature. We can use the nature God has given us, but to do what? To make the proper use of nature with proper planning. We should never harm our nature. If we harm the nature, we are only going to be in danger in future. It is harmful for us only. Clear everyone? I hope this chapter is clear with you all. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you.